Hey, welcome to the latest episode of 305 Vox Populi. I'm Mayor Manny Cid, and this is the People Shop. We're in Lazarito's one. As you can see, it's a little different. This is the original here in the heart of Hialeah. Lazarito, how you doing?
What's up, brother?
All is good. All is good. So where's this shop at?
This was located on the west side of Hialeah, 1959 West 60th Street, where the old DMV shopping center was at.
Right on 60th. And we have a special guest today. You all know Jerry and Joe's Pizza, right? I think everybody in Hialeah, in Miami Lakes, and Northwest State has enjoyed a slice from Jerry and Joe's. And we have Henry, that a lot of folks know him as Henry. But Enrique with us. How you doing, Enrique?
Pretty good, in yourself?
All is good. All is good. Good to see you.
Hi.
So we wanted to talk to you because I think what's fascinating about this show is that we get into the background of these stories, right? So a lot of people get to eat your awesome pizza, but what's the real story behind Jerry and Joe's? Like, what's the why? How did it start? Where did it come from?
Well, the original, the founder, he was an Italian immigrant from Brooklyn, New York, and he brought it down to Hialeah in 1957.
Wow.
As a matter of fact,
1957?
1957, yeah. It was the first pizzeria in Hialeah. As a matter of fact, in 1957, he called it Jerry and Maria.
Wait. So it was Jerry and Maria?
In 1957.
Wow.
That's the first name, because I looked it up in the occupational license back then, which was written with a crayon. He filled out the application with a crayon.
That's amazing.
And again, it was Jerry and Maria. The following year, he changed the name and named it Jerry and Joe's. Joe's was a friend of his from up north that lent him $500 to start the business. He was like a silent partner. He never worked at the store, and that's how it all began.
That's interesting. So when did you guys, you and your family, take over the shop? Like what year? How did the transaction happen? When did you say we want to get into the pizza game?
Actually, when we arrived from Cuba back in 1967, and my dad had like everybody else that used to come, he had 3 jobs. One of them was delivering pizza here in Hialeah at another store. It was called Cassie's Pizza. And he learned the business, and then when he found out about this opportunity that they wanted to sell, an uncle of mine that had other types of businesses lend them the money to buy the business. This was in 1978 when we got it.
Wow, so since 1978, and how has the pizza game progressed since then in Hialeah, in your eyes? I mean, having a shop, we're about to have a slice in a second, which I think it's a treat. I know this is your favorite pizza, so when we talked about it, you're like, man, Jerry and Joe's. So talk to us about how has the game evolved, since you guys have gotten, since 1978?
No, things have changed, definitely a lot of the big chains have moved in, like Domino's Pizza for one. In the 80s, they started out in the 80s down here. They had a huge explosion. They kind of popularized everything about delivery, the delivery system. They're the ones that invented it. And then you have all the chain stores now, and you even have the Cuban pizza.
But kudos to you all, because not only have you survived that whole era, but you're thriving, right? You have, how many stores you have now?
We started a franchise business back in the 90s. We put up 30 stores. There were 30 stores back in between 2000 and 2005.
Wow.
There are about 30 stores, from West Palm Beach down to Cutler Ridge. But then in 2008, when we had the Great Recession, a lot of the stores closed. People lost their business, they lost their homes, and now there's really only 3 stores. There's one in Doral, one in Cutler Ridge, and the one here in Hialeah on 68th Street, which is the one that you
got it. Any plans, future expansion?
Not for now, unless maybe my son wants to continue.
Got it. No, you know what? I think about this time I'm gonna pull out that pie. So we're gonna taste it out.
Okay, sure.
And Ariel, Alberto, you guys jump in and let us know.
All right.
I'll grab one slice and I'll hold the box for you. Let me pass it, I'll hold it for you.
This is it right here.
Yeah, let's see the slice right now.
Hey, look at that box. Well, look at that box. So what do you think, Laz? What's up with this pizza?
Grade A in my book.
Albert, I did.
Amazing, outstanding.
Well, thank you.
Good stuff.
You got some awesome reviews. So, Laz, what does Jerry and Joe's mean to you in the community? Because I know when we were talking about guests. Enrique was one of the first folks that you talked about. So,
It goes way back to like when I was even in elementary. I remember receiving, for other kids, it would be, let me see, it was called the winning circle or winning row with a little coupon.
Oh, okay.
It used to be part of the school board system, and that's how I discovered Jerry and Joe's. And ever since then, man, I can still remember the number to the day: 305-821-5555.
is that really that's the number?
That's the number, yeah.
Oh man,
That's the number, yeah. You know, the nice thing about, being in a community for so long is that now your patrons are the grandkids of the, it's from family to family, generation after generation.
That's the beauty of it. You know what
I mean, I have people, they walk in the store and, they tell me, my mom used to bring me here when I was 5 years old, kind of thing.
that's phenomenal. So what's that? And I think owning a business and going through that entire journey. What's that one story that you can share with us? I'm sure there's a lot that you can, the same way that we own businesses. But what's that one story that has stuck with you, or that means so much that you can share with us on the show?
I'm sure there's a lot right now. It's it's that appreciation of the community. That they walk in there and and they say, like I just told you, my mom used to bring me here when I was 5 years old, kind of thing. And that it means something.
No, it really does. It really does. As a business owner, to see that generational,
Yeah.
those customers turn into generational friends. Albert, Ariel, one of the cool things that we do on the show is that we allow our team to ask some questions. What do you guys got for Enrique? By the way, I'm gonna walk over and eat one more slice, so everybody's cool with it. You need another one? He's eating a pizza, guys. So he has a question. So
What do you hope the legacy to be? What do you hope people to identify Jerry and Joe's with?
No, like a lot of other business, a local business that's been around for a long time, and it's not even a business. It's like family. Basically, that's what it is. It's the community is your family, and they know you, and you walk in there and they know you by name, kind of thing. It's that personal.
As you know, this is going to be edited and it's going to be dealt with by a lot of students. What do you think kids and this generation can learn with the business model that you've had for your business?
I think the important thing is that personal touch. That maybe now we're losing a little bit. That togetherness, which is important. I think nowadays, kids nowadays are losing that a little bit through all the technology and everything else that's going on.
yeah, so that's one of the important messages to the kids that are going to be editing this, is that it's all relationship based, right? So we know that our success as individuals is a success of everybody around us, the community.
Exactly.
Lazarito gets that very well. I mean, that's
Lazarito, he's been practicing that for a very long time.
he has. So one of the other things that we do in the show is that we flip the script and you get to ask me or Laz some questions. You turn into the person asking a question. Anything you got for us?
No, definitely. I've known Lazarito for a while now, and and I know his business model and what he does and stuff like that. Tell me a little bit about
Why do you name it the People Shop? I think you want to know that. Why he calls it la barbería del pueblo.
Mira, okay. I didn't know that.
It's something, born and raised here, and you inspire, your story has inspired me. I'm not sure, I don't think I've ever told you that, but God's timing is always right. But, you inspire me to be able to build something and, watch generations, grow old in your business,
right.
You know what I mean? And come back a story like that, and I've only been in business for it's going to be 12 years now, but hopefully, God willing, 20, 30, 40 years from now, 50 years from now, where my son can maybe, one of my kids can take over the barbershop,
exactly.
Game and the business. And they'll be hearing stories where, your grandpa, your dad used to give me a haircut when I was a little kid and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So that'll be very heartwarming,
Definitely.
To experience that.
That's true. And Manny, and you're in the politician business, if you want to call it that. How do you feel about it? I mean,
listen, it's an honor. Like Lazarito said, we grew up very, very similar, right? We grew up in the parks here in Hialeah. Grew up kind of playing ball on the street, so it's a different perspective than the majority, especially the era that we grew up in, right? Those 90s that we were on the late 80s, the 90s, maybe the early 2000s. So it's a very different perspective than the majority of elected officials that I deal with, right? So sometimes, our views or our values are in conflict, but it's one thing that I think we've learned through that process, how to work with people, and playing ball in the streets, be it baseball, basketball, whatever it is, being a good teammate, how to work with folks, how to collaborate. So look, the future is bright and you can see it in the kids that produce this for public service. But I also think it's important for people to collaborate, get off the internet, go sit down, have a pizza, get a cut here.
That's so true.
And
talk in person.
And talk in person. I get folks, adults, who tell me all the time they want to communicate with me via Facebook. Like, that's a little weird. You know what I mean? Like, come meet with me at City Hall. Like, they're like, no, I only want to speak to you via. I'm like, strange. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not used to that. Like, that's it. We think about it. If somebody would have told us, we're like, hey, I'm gonna go meet me at Walt Park, and they're like, nah, let's just show me on FaceTime what's going on. No, you go in person. So. But it is interesting. But thank you for sharing your story.
Okay.
More than anything, and some final thoughts. Looking into that camera, some inspirational words for that future generation. We had 90 kids in the program this year and about 150 next year. So any words you got for them?
Work together. Stay together. I think it's important, and we can get more done that way.
Absolutely. There you have it, Enrique. Most of you know him in a very loving way as Henry, right? From Jerry and Joe's Pizza. You heard their story, very inspiring, where they started the first pizzeria in Hialeah. And you heard it there, and they're still open today. Tune in next Wednesday on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.